No!
I was more thinking of the Shia buff, but sure.
We've got to go. I'm gonna reply to this. Say. Okay, just putting out a tweet.
Tweet of tweets.
Tweet. Okay, so the hell happened last time? You guys slept through the night. There was some talk about storms acting strange, and then the halfling got eaten by a purple worm, and you defeated the purple worm. So
now I need to collect more purple worm juice.
yes. Let me see here. If I go to Excel, close, open the vault. Okay.
Computer, why won't we cooperate today?
Boop. Looky there. We can put that map away for a moment. Boop. So, this was the state of things at the end of last week. Yup. Yukikaze had gone into the purple worm to find Cyrus, who had very nearly died on multiple occasions, and helped him get out. He cast haste upon himself to exit the worm. He had fallen deep inside of its gut throughout the course of the fight, and it was a long, acidic walk out. Both of you took acid damage from that. The rest of the party gathered around the worm as it fell in the sand, apparently dead, and then as Leah and Zintharamil, the Fae Spirit, former Fae Spirit, now strictly a Fae, simply Fae, came back. That is when Vendar went in to try and begin removing venom sacs again. Right. After he shouted to the heavens how much he needed the purple worm poison, the heavens themselves opened up, and a humanoid-looking creature descended from the sky on bird-like wings, and told Raiken that in obtaining the armor of Cord, he had proven his devotion to the god and must now carry the god's message to the world, and not to take this responsibility lightly, and that he had earned Cord's favor and blessing in doing this challenging quest of preventing the armor's destruction.
Yes.
So, we'll start there with the return. I need to grab an icon here. Give me just a second. Just need an icon. Just give me. It's probably somewhere on my computer, but I'm just going to cut it from the internet. My own image that I made a long time ago. That's square. Boop. Oh god, everything's moving. Stop that. That's approximately square. So, you're going to be rejoined by the Eladrin World Hopper named Nerevar, who seems to circle the worm very cautiously. The bird with him, Cal, actually flutters onto the worm and seems to peck at the top of it momentarily before spreading its wings wide and shouting, "Cal is king of the worm!" as Vendar begins to choose how to go about cutting free the venom sacs. Nerevar says to him, I believe your friends, the Tabaxi, have departed. They did not say anything. Is it alright?
It doesn't surprise me. Ow.
You look
Yeah, I think
unwell.
most people would run from a purple worm.
I don't think they're coming back.
I'm just gonna peel off the tatters that are left of what used to be a shirt and just toss them on the ground.
Whap! This tattered, wet hunk of material flops onto the sand, and a cool breeze blows across you. You are very aware of it on your nipples.
I'm so
I
sick of
simply
this
just pull
desert.
off my cloak.
It's still a warm day.
Still.
What was that, Guaco?
I said I'm so sick of this desert. I want to get out of this place.
Is that something you say out loud to Zintharamil, who's right next to you, or is that just what you're
I say
thinking?
out loud to everyone. I mean, we're catching up. It's
Zintharamil looks...
warm. It's full of stupid traps and big worms and sandstorms. It's not fun.
Zintharamil looks down at you sympathetically and says, then perhaps we should move on. I was told there was a city we could go to. We could return to the Dragonborn Tribe, perhaps. I'm eager to try and gain what power I can.
I like all of those plans. I say if I'm within earshot.
Well, we can't go back to Nalia. Or do I even know that? I can't remember
No.
if that was... So we don't
No.
know. So I guess, if anything, he would ask Larabendis, then, since Larabendis is technically their travel leader, because he's has the way of getting anywhere. When are we going to leave and where are we going?
Going to Nala to get your book, maybe? You still need your book, right?
Nalia is busy with other things at the moment. I will have to get in touch with her at a later date.
Oh,
you're
you can
getting your
say
book
that
back?
means you get to keep your armor.
So then we're sticking with the wagon for now.
Yes, and traveling back to the tribes, I feel like it would be a good thing to do anyway, since I'm sure they would like to see Yukikaze well.
In that case, I'm gonna cast a firebolt into the air and turn on my fire resistance to help with the heat.
So we're going to send our Eldrin friend to the other place. What was it again?
The college?
The
yeah,
university
the college.
should be able to aid him, and I know someone at the university who I think should be able to help him. A diviner friend of mine, acquaintance, another professor.
Nerevar looks around for a moment and then looks to you, Larmendis, and says, if it's all the same to you, it doesn't seem, perhaps, that this is my final destination, and time is not necessarily of the essence. I wonder if you wouldn't mind my tagging along and being able to ask some questions before you send me on to this colleague of yours.
I would
I, for
certainly
one,
like
would love
the
the
ability
company
to ask you
because I still have
questions.
more questions.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think both of you said the same thing, so...
I think
It's-
essentially, yeah.
It seems that we are in mutual agreement, then.
Sorry.
Also, it seems that your method of teleporting is not a ritual, and so would cost you spells. And given what I've just witnessed, this place is not the best for wasting spells.
No, you shouldn't stay in one spot for too long either, in case those things show up.
Do you know their frequency?
We met 2 so far in
I
4
turned to
days?
Yukikaze.
Yukikaze?
Sorry, I missed it because I was waiting for Leah to finish and I just zoned out for a second.
Laramentis is looking at you, hoping that you can answer the question of how common are these worms?
He thinks for a second to how many times he's encountered them.
I mean, 2 in the last few days, but, you know, more else times in your life.
2 data points makes a line.
It's true, it does.
Well, there was that one time when I was little. A couple times. Relatively frequent, but not outrageous.
Well, this also...
That's why our clan, you remember what our clan did when the one appeared? We do have precautions for dealing with them.
Well,
We are
don't.
lacking in an army.
So what, like 2 a week? What are we talking here?
Not that frequent.
What's that frequency for us? Also, there's big scorpions.
At the rate we're meeting worms, we'll have 2 by dinner, 4 by tomorrow morning, and we'll be overrun completely by next Wednesday.
No, it's not that bad. It just was, considering the circumstances of what was going on. They're the way what attracts them. Because if I'm not mistaken, they're attracted by sound, just voice in the sky, right? So,
Yes, they are attracted to vibrations.
so since there was such a loud noise, that brought another one more frequently because it was attracted to what was going on. So, it's not going to be that bad. It's just our circumstances have made it frequent.
Otherwise, Vendar would have a lifetime supply of purple worm poison.
He already does.
I have so much.
You hear this.
How much he uses it, he'll
You hear-
get through it.
You hear him shout back, "I have so much," muffled through the side of the worm. You don't see him.
Is the cart still okay?
The cart is alright. Honestly, the cart is started over here, so the cart actually should be here-ish.
No, that far away.
Well, it would have been closer to the cabin.
Oh yeah, right, the worm dug. I forgot about that.
Where's the... Oh. I thought I had a... Sorry, I thought I had a,
And how's the
image.
weather? How's the weather right now? Is it like super hot? Sun is up.
I mean, it's morning, so it's not sweltering yet, but it is very quickly increasing.
Okay. I'm going to like summon my umbrella and like or parasol or whatever you call it, and give myself some shades.
Okay. So you're going to go over to the,
Nah, it's in the bag of holding. I just snaps it up.
Oh, never mind then. You notice that everything still kind of has a sulfurous funk up to it.
Are you gonna be alright in the heat? I say, looking at Zintharamil.
Zintharamil looks down at you, momentarily perplexed, and then says, It seems this body is well adapted to many environments. I hadn't noticed any heat.
Okay, good. Let's hope it stay that way. I don't think 2 can fit under this.
He smiles kindly, says, I appreciate your concern.
And Laramentis turns to Yukikaze and says, there is one other thing for our travel through the desert that might be something we should be taking into account. The Tabaxi have said that the storms have changed paths, which means our predictions are no longer necessarily accurate, which could make traveling back to the tribes hazardous.
Well, with the vault gone, or at the very least moved, what do you think the chances are that they're still the same magic-absorbing storms they were before?
I would argue that even if they don't absorb magic still, I don't want to be caught in a massive sandstorm in the middle of the desert.
I agree, but it's just something to keep in mind. If we do get caught in one, we might have options that, well, weathering it better.
Wait, are the other Tabaxi left already, right? Or
Yeah, that's what Nerevar reported to you.
yes. So crap.
Was anyone else awake when he was talking to me about the storms? Was it in the morning or was it in the middle of the night?
That was in the middle of the night.
Okay.
He was woken up by one of the other Tabaxi and spent 20 minutes watching the storm, which apparently the Tabaxi outside did as well, and then they determined that the storm was going to miss. He explained the situation to you and then went back to sleep.
Cool.
Tristan, I want to think of my confidence being that my tribe is usually the guides that even with the change, I might be able to guide us through.
I mean, you've got the sextant and everything, so you are, like, the guide.
Okay.
Yeah, they managed to not wake up Vendar during this conversation.
What do you mean wake up? He's awake.
Yeah, now, but I mean during the night. When they had the conversation during the night.
I just heard it in my sleep. It was part of my dream.
Part of my I wonder
like,
what else he was dreaming about.
Because you can hear like a fart from a fly on the other room, right?
Goodness gracious.
Anyway, so Laramentis, to answer your question, I can't like predict the storms as well as my other kin in my tribe, but I believe I do have a decent amount of skill to get us back.
Laramentis, you know that his tribe uses divination magic to predict the storms, and you know that Yukikaze has not shown any aptitude for such.
Yeah.
I guess, can you divine their changed trajectories, or are we relying on our ability to see them and judge trajectories when we see them, and hoping that we are far enough out of the way that we can get further out of the way?
Pretty much the second one.
Do you think that... Continue.
It's just I'll just be going based on my experiences in the past with them.
Which may not hold anymore.
Fair point.
Do we think that the tribes are likely to be in the same location that we were expecting them to be in, and that we should be heading for there?
It's not gonna move anytime soon. It'll be a little while before we move again. At least for...
So, quick question for the group. Would anyone happen to have some way of fixing magical exhaustion.
I look at the empty space where our gnome was.
Jebel is just playing his lute.
What
nope.
can heal? What can heal that?
Are you asking in or out of character?
There are
character.
spells. There are spells which state that they can heal levels of exhaustion. You might ask him why he's exhausted. You just got a long rest.
Did you not get any sleep?
I got plenty of sleep. Seems those boots had one more side effect, or just pure physical exhaustion just managed to stick around regardless of the sleep.
Well, I don't think I have anything.
I'm gonna go curl up in the cart.
Perhaps you should take today easy.
That's kind of already the plan. And he says, looking at the, acid burns currently annoying his body.
Oh dear. So you're gonna go back to the cart.
Shall we
So I'll be
begin
right back.
on our travels?
Yeah, 'cause even if there are storms, we can't just sit here and wait until someone comes and finds us. So, we can press on, and the tribes should still be in the general location of the storms. They would just maybe moved a little bit here and there to dodge whatever's coming around, but they should still be in the vicinity of where we lost Psalm.
Excellent.
Okay. So, Vendar,
Yes.
you have been inside the worm trying to cut the venom sacs out. So I want you to make 3 sleight of hand checks, 3 medicine checks, and 3 athletics checks. And you can type out the results if you want, or just tell me.
Alright, so I got 2 18s and then a 28, which is a nat 20 on my sleight of hands.
Alrighty. And medicine.
I got 14, 15, and 13.
Okay. And then finally athletics.
That's 16, 5, and 12.
Okay. So you do once again find 6 large venom sacs as you pick your way around inside this worm. You have a blade that you can use for light inside. Yes, you still do, or you don't?
Oh no, I think it got disenchanted at some point.
You're
Yeah, I
right.
think that-
The anti-magic field. Do you have a source of light?
I have torches.
Interesting. Okay. We'll go with that.
I could. Somebody else? Does anybody else still have a thing? One that works? Could I have borrowed that?
We can retroactively ask if somebody still has a weapon with
I
light.
Leah
go
has
over and
the-
cast light on his hat.
Okay. Rude. Your hat is now glowing with bright light. You go inside and you do this.
That's cool.
You manage to
Okay.
find the 6 venom sacs. You manage to cut free all 6 venom sacs, and you manage to do so very carefully. However, they are large and slippery and nasty, so you, on your way out, only manage to carry out 4 because 2 of them are just too much for you. Having your spoils, 4 out of 6 venom sacs, you now take 20 points of acid damage from being inside a worm that was basically just alive.
Okay.
Alright. Over the course of the whole time you spent in there. Which you know from the last time you were in there approximately where to look. So you were able to do this more quickly, even though you were able to, even though you were alone this time. So are you still alive?
Yeah, I'm still alive.
Okay. You come out acid burned, but victorious. You have 4 large venom sacs. He smells awful as he comes back out. His hat is still glowing.
Can you clean me?
Immediately. The Eladrin, who is closest to the maw of the creature as you step out of it, covers his face and raises it with one hand while raising his other, and with a quick sweep and circling gesture in your general direction, you feel clean.
Ah, magic. I will go about making poison.
So you, like, sit down on the ground and begin taking out your poisoner's kit and, like, getting ready to start cutting these things open.
I'll find a nice place to set up shop and I'll do it.
We are getting ready to leave.
Well, then I'll do it in the cart.
Please don't. How much ground space do you need?
I mean, he needs a significant amount of space because of A, the size of the venom sacs, and B, just the
Oh, I also can't
work.
cast an floating disc anyway.
Yeah, the work that needs to be done. He would need at least a 10-foot square, which he doesn't have access to, but he can take the venom sacs with him and do it later. So then, we're good to go. Yes.
I believe so.
Well, I'm also just like, no one's helped me finish yet.
Putting on his armor.
Oh, right. I go over to assist.
And then I gotta pack up my tent and stuff that was left outside. And
Okay.
get all my stuff together.
Raiken is going to start casting.
Yes, Vendar will get those sacks secured so they can do it later.
Jebel will saunter off to the wagon, where he will play his lute for Cyrus.
I'll go inside the wagon as well.
So much for my nap.
We can play a lullaby.
It's almost like he's playing something soothing and wonderful, but just before, like every single time, just before you go to drift off, there's just one note that's off just enough. It's always at irregular intervals, just as you're about to just drift off to a wonderful sleep. It's almost imperceptible too.
Get to the point where I'm like, I need to just snatch and bust the instrument to pieces. Yeah, I can see that.
The cursed F sharp.
I think that instrument's gonna have a little accident later.
I have no idea what his performance check is like, so...
I mean, he's decent, but if he wants to screw up, he can.
I don't get to control that bit of
No.
other players.
Where's that?
This is one of the
What's a lizard?
Dunanolians.
It's a lizard.
Indeed.
Lizard. I want to touch it.
I mean, you've interacted with them before.
No, but I want to touch that picture of the lizard, like that lizard.
Ah, I see. Oops. Keep doing that. Sorry about that. So yes, you finish helping Yukikaze with his armor and breaking down his camp.
No.
You've got more people than usual.
Raiken was not getting in the wagon. He was casting.
Oh, you were casting. Oh, this should be fun.
Alright.
Hang on.
Super real.
Me too.
It's been so long.
It's
Here
been
comes
like a day.
I think.
But to
those
us,
are the right
it feels
person.
like several months.
I've missed you, meow meow.
Oh boy.
It's gonna try and treat me as a snack again, isn't it?
I laughed so much when Achievement Hunter said meow meow the other day.
Good gosh.
It's like they know.
You cast your spell, which 1
It's
minute,
so big.
10
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
It's a tiger, of course it's big.
Well, then, as you're casting that spell, Nerevar is going to look over and say, "We've got kind of a lot of people, even for your sizable wagon, and are 2 lizards enough to pull it?"
I turn to Yukikaze.
Well, that's what was pulling the cart before. It's
Yeah, yeah.
they're really strong lizards.
I believe you. You came here on them. But it seems your friend Zintharamil and I will need our own ride.
Oh, for
It's fine. He reaches into he unslings a backpack from under his cloak and reaches in, and he pulls out a small blue candle, and with a wave of his fingers it becomes lit, and he begins setting up what looks like a ritual circle.
I assume that you're going to be creating phantom steeds. My concern with that would be if the storms are still functioning in the same way that they were before, pulling magic from the surrounding areas. We had a fun experience with the phantom steeds being one of the first things to go, which made getting away from the storm a difficult experience.
He looks up from his work and says, "Well, that's good to know. I'll just have to make sure that mine can fly then."
Would that make it worse?
It would allow me to get away more quickly,
Or fall from a big height?
which isn't that dangerous for me.
If magic is suppressed enough in the area, though, it could be.
He stops
had
completely at
argued
this point and
that
says,
Functioning.
"That's not possible."
I had thought the same, but Ash is missing some memories, after he fell in my lap.
My knowledge of these animals, Tristan, can't I suggest maybe we could switch positions and have someone actually ride on them themselves? That wouldn't overburden them, right?
If you think that won't overburden them, I don't know the limitations of these creatures. He turns back to Laramentis.
I think he was asking the voice in the sky.
Yeah.
Not Nerevar.
It's...
I didn't want to push it. I didn't know. I think it might, but...
It's
I want to say yeah.
Possible. I mean, you have some heavier characters and some lighter characters. If you put the lightest characters on the lizards, they may not notice.
If it's possible, I could always ride with Kubriel.
Also possible.
I'll make that recommendation, and then also with my knowledge of them, I will monitor them, and if it seems like they are, we'll stop and maybe think of another means. So I'll make that recommendation. It's like, well, maybe we could stick to the lightest on the lizards for a while and see how they handle it, and I'll stop if it seems like they're overburdened. And then, Leah, you can say that if you wish, the other thing.
Alright, if you insist. He licks his fingers and then pinches the candle flame out, putting it back into his bag.
I'm gonna walk over to Raiken and ask if I can ride with him.
Raiken will say, "Of course," and he will lift you up onto Kubriel. Assuming he got on first, because right now I'm not on it.
No, I haven't gone through the end of the spell yet.
Oh, okay.
Nerevar, after putting the candle back away, will say, "If you think that will work, it's acceptable. Tell me more about these storms, because I've only heard bits and pieces."
Laramentis will explain to him everything that he's aware of the storms. Yeah. I mean, I can talk through things.
So where does all that magic go?
It previously went to the Lich.
Maybe that was also how she was able to refine the powder.
He honestly looks
It would have been nice
impressed.
to see whatever it was that did it.
Yeah, we didn't get to see how it was made. Or the storms, how the storms were controlled and made.
That's amazing. We don't have a system quite so efficient where I'm from, though one can obtain a significant amount of residuum from disenchanting items. Oh.
Could you show me how to do that?
I could.
Because we have this cloak.
I would love the opportunity to rid you of some of those cursed items, if you're willing to part with them, because oddly it seems you're not.
It's a very shiny sword, I'm sorry.
He just blinks at you.
I would like to hold on to them until we get to the Dragonborn encampment, though, where I may acquire enough material to properly record the process.
Yeah, it actually is quite clear right now. We probably should get moving before a storm rolls in.
Fine. Fine. I'm going to ride a lizard. They never go to the back. Are you going to ride up front, Lair?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the arrangement I have. So he's seated on the lizard in front of you. and Cal is riding the other lizard. So, your spell completes, Raiken, and the ground in front of you glows as with the light of a brewing storm, and your tiger materializes in the midst of that storm, and the storm dies away. She shakes her fur luxuriantly in the warm sun, and looks around, and settles her eyes on you. And as before, you can hear her voice in your mind. You recognize your trusty steed, Kubriel. And she gets a somewhat bored expression on her face. She says, "It seems that I was removed again."
Yeah, a boulder kind of squashed us.
Oh, I remember. It was not pleasant. She kind of examines a paw momentarily and then licks it.
Believe me, I understand, as I got squished as well. It did not feel good.
She begins gnawing on the claw of that paw. Indeed. And how do you plan on preventing such a thing from happening to me again?
Not trigger any more boulders.
Very good. What task are you setting me to today?
We need to head out and try to find the camp again with the, my brother and the other Yukikaze's clan.
She was there for that part, right?
I believe so.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I remember other stuff that happened in those scenes.
I think she actually died there fighting something.
Cool.
Didn't she?
No, she just had to run back from. She's the one who brought the
purple worm.
the worm.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true.
I totally forgot about
I think
that.
that was it.
She attracted the purple worm to the clan. That was the best. She got so many soldiers killed.
They died for cord.
Of course.
Oh no, Yukikaze lost internet.
Oh, very well. She looks down at Leah, who's come over while you were casting. Is this one too?
Yes. Is there a problem?
No, not at all. She has to scratch my ear.
I'm sure she'll be fine with that. Leah, will you scratch her ear?
Right now?
She rolls her large head toward you, exposing her right ear.
Sure. I'm gonna scratch it.
She pulls her head back with, not that ear. She rolls her
wrong
head again.
ear, apparently.
She rolls her head again, exposing her right ear.
Wrong ear, apparently.
I'm gonna scratch it right there.
No, I said wrong ear.
Try the left one.
She rolls her head again, exposing the right ear.
Okay, I'm gonna try to scratch the
You have to
left
find.
ear.
You find you have to reach up this large creature over its head that's as big as your torso, trying to get at the left ear that's up in the air. As you begin pulling at the hair on her neck and scratching at her ear, you just hear, yes. And she kind of lolls to the side for a moment, then straightens out and says, "Okay, we can go."
Good job, Leah.
Do you always have to do this, Ryder?
No, she just wanted you to do it. She likes you.
Well, that's good. Cats can be tricky, right?
Yes.
I remember I
Cats.
petted a cat in the city once. It seemed to want it until it decided to bite me.
Yes, cats have minds of their own. They want one thing and then want something else. So Raiken will hop on and then pull you up as well.
Alright, you mount the tiger together, and with the colorful band of people, including your two new companions, you begin heading off back to the west, using what landmarks you can. Boop. Just turn.
Like, oh,
Yes.
I remember that dune.
Yes. Actually, I wonder if I can... I don't know how helpful it'll be, but I'll try. I'll put this one up. Add. I think it might just be more useful. So between the map and the navigational tools, like the very expensive sextant that was given to Yukikaze by his father, and using the training he had been given, and what landmarks there are, primarily knowledge of time and the height of the sun, you are able to find your way back to that last camp you were at. Where is what image? That's what I'm looking for. Give me an image. Give me a new image. Okay, add a source. Browse. Give me just a moment to get that up there. Pictures. Ooh, there's a lot of pictures in here.
So many pictures.
Yeah.
Think you're on
It's
the
the folder
wrong
where
hard drive.
everything goes when I use Screen Hunter to clip it.
I was hoping you get the reference, Tristan.
So many creatures. Of course I got
Yeah.
the reference. Come on. give me some credit here. I know what you're talking about. Okay. No? Oh, wow. These are from another campaign. I saw the picture of that angel guy. I'm like, I must have already found where I need to be. It's like, no, I have clipped that picture before. Okay, there are the gods. There's a purple worm, but is it the purple worm? It's not. It's not the purple worm.
I just keep looking at the initiative order and just face palming at Raiken.
He got 4.
You got nat 1.
Oh.
Well, everybody else other than Cyrus got 20 or better.
So sorry. It was unfortunate for you. Oh, wait. What if I just... No. Okay. Thought maybe I could just paste it in there. That didn't work. I actually have to locate it. Oh my god. Okay. Almost there. Almost. Yes. There. Open. Perfect. Done. Swoop.
Swoopity swoo.
Swoobity boobity.
Swah.
Why is it being difficult?
Dang it, map.
And then height. Alright, good enough. So this one, at least, you can kind of see the little dots all over. And so... half a day we'll bring you back. To that camp. So, I imagine you'll travel all day, right?
All day, every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I need...
Are we gonna break for food, or are we just gonna travel?
Oh, no. So, traveling all day does include breaking for food. I was about to
Okay.
ask for some skill checks to do the navigation to get there. Because you're not going to be using the same camp as last time. You'll kind of be landing in the middle between the two camps you use. Yeah. So... moving this way. Okay. Yeah, so I would like Yukikaze to make me some survival checks with advantage.
Oh, look at advantage. Nice.
Because you have tools and training.
Advantage.
So it's nice to have the advantage.
So
I'm
I want 2 survival tests. There's basically, and it's just travel, so not a lot going on. The Enolians are pulling you over the sands, Kubriel is following behind, and everybody's sort of just lazing about inside the cart, which is now very soft and comfortable thanks to the upgrades that Yukikaze ordered for it. So if people want to commit to language lessons, or other things that don't take up a lot of room. So Vendar, we're basically saying that the venom sacs are going to go into the netting on the side of the wagon. That sound okay?
Okay, as long as they don't break.
Yeah, no, they should be safe there. That's where you kept the heads the first time.
Okay.
The fucking heads.
So, Tristan, you said 2?
Yes, two, please, 2.
Survival check.
First
I'm back.
one was 19, second one was 23.
Okay. So, you managed to navigate the desert dunes. You managed not to tire out the Enolians in the first leg of this trip. Finding your way among the dunes in a way that is easy on the occupants and the beasts of burden. And as far as you can tell, you are where you think you should be, going by Vendar's map.
Very nice.
You break for lunch. It has been several hours at this point. You're going to be doing... 12 hours of traveling. 8 and 8 would be 16. So it's 12 hours of traveling, minus the fighting this morning, and the 16 minus the fighting this morning, breaking for lunch and doing navigational stuff. So it's 12 hours of good moving. And you make good time. In total, but that's not there yet. So you break for lunch in the middle. You notice after the several hours, so this brings you to a little afternoon, so you've been going for 4 or 5 hours at this point. You notice that while you are moving among dunes, some low, some high, you do still have decent visibility over long distances. You've not noticed any storms, even in the far distance.
None at all,
No. And given how long you've been traveling, given that you're coming from their epicenter, where they all converge,
huh? We should have seen
you feel like you should have seen something.
5 at least, or 6.
I mean, 1 even.
Maybe just 1 or 2.
Since you've learned that they come from all over the desert.
So, as we're stopped for lunch at this moment, right? This isn't.
Yeah, your moment to, you're stopped for a little while. You've got food coming from your bento box and from Nerevar's bag of provisions. And he's sharing graciously with all of you. He's got way more than he can eat.
Ice cream. All the ice cream.
Every time you reach in the bag, you pull out another dish of ice cream. It keeps you nice and cool in the hot desert, though it does melt quickly.
Then it's just ice cream soup, which is like better.
How is that better? What? No.
Try it sometime.
I have. It's not better.
Sam votes to excommunicate Derek.
The Quetzal's Cal will spread his wings from Nerevar's shoulder and say, "Cal will try it. Give Cal some," and he will flap his way over onto Cyrus. The bird is nearly as big as you are, so it does almost knock you over when it lands on you.
Great.
Give Cal ice cream soup.
I'll set down a bowl for him to eat out of, and I'll grab a separate one for me to eat.
He, very much like a bird drinking water, dips his beak and then raises his head to push it down his throat with gravity. And his eyes go wide, and you can see the blue and purple and red sparks of magic within them swirling. And he says, "It's delicious." And he just tears into it like the animal he is. By the end of it, his golden, shining feathers are just, especially around his face, just coated in a sticky sheen.
He was having rainbow sherbet.
He's got a sticky patina over his feathers around his face. I think the other thing to note is just that pretty much until this point, Nerevar's hair has appeared primarily blonde, golden in color, with the exception of that time that Cal pulled out a lock of it and held it up to the moonlight, and it showed a rainbow of colors. You can see in the direct sunlight as he sits eating with the rest of you that pretty much all of his hair does that, and that as he turns and moves, just this rainbow sheen flows one direction and the other in the light. It's very surreal. You've never seen anything like it, and it feels magical.
Can I bring up something that I want to bring up to the party during the lunch?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Now is the time to talk. This is a travel day, so talk.
While we were in the vault, I received word from Kalimdar in Tuka of something happening there, but his message was unclear. If it is all right with everyone, I'm going to send to him again to let him know that we are intending to head back there and to ask him to relay his message again.
Zintharamil suddenly looks a little excited and says, "I remember Kalimdar. He was at the Mages Guild. And there were two older men with him. One was a tiefling, the other a human."
Yes.
I have memories.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, Armandus. I think that's a alright idea. And also, your eyesight is really... You can see way far in the distance, right? Armandus?
What do you see with your elf eyes? Do you see your
better
brand?
than most humans, I suppose?
Oh. Well, I'm wondering if it's just me, or like we haven't seen any storms at all. Like, you haven't seen anything in the far distance, have you?
I don't believe I have. You want me to roll for it?
No, you don't need to roll. It's been a exceptionally clear day, as would be expected in a desert where there is not precipitation or even enough moisture to gather into a cloud most of the time. Very different from your travel over the days prior to entering the dungeon, where every day you saw several storms, even if they were in the distance.
Perhaps whatever was drawing the storms was also something that was catalyzing their existence, and so not only will we see them going in difficult to predict directions, but we will see them diminish in frequency and hopefully power.
Maybe. I just was wondering if you've seen anything that I might have missed while I was navigating.
I have a question for you, historians.
Yes.
You said that Lich had been there for some 500 years. And
Yes.
you've conjectured that they were perhaps using the storms to gather magic to create residuum.
That would be about the size of it, yeah.
So have the storms always existed, even before 500 years ago?
I don't believe so.
How old are
Well,
19.
for as long as my tribes have been around, and for a lot of our history, the storms have existed, and our tribes have always lived in Toralos.
Always was a long time.
I will
Oh,
point
yeah.
something out to you, Malachi, that your character would know.
Okay.
The stories of the first Avatar of Bahamut, who drove off the Black Dragon Shisharan, and who led the Dragonborn out of Toralos over and formed Arcosia, those stories never spoke of a desert. Somebody is breathing very heavily on their mic.
Yeah. Yeah. I
They in
forgot
fact
that
spoke of how Toralos was green and hilly.
Oh. Okay. All right. So, do I have any knowledge of when it kind of transitioned then?
You know that the storms have existed as long as the desert, at least. But no
Okay.
stories preceding Tales of the Desert included the storms.
I will state that then. If that is okay, I'd like to state that.
Yes, go ahead.
So our tribes have always lived in have lived in Toralos for a very long time, and what I grew up with, being told, as long as the desert has been in Toralos, the storms have also existed.
So, it's possible that the storms do not predate the desert. Does the desert predate the Lich?
I want to confirm with Voice in the Sky. I thought that we as a party had been led to believe, with information that we had gathered from the temple and everything, that the desert didn't exist before the destruction of Garland.
Right.
And so that cataclysm is what is assumed to have created the desert and everything. So since we know that the Lich
That's
is
correct.
the one that destroyed Garland because she said as much, it is reasonable that everyone in the party should be at least relatively confident in this knowledge.
Yes. That is all
Didn't no
accurate.
Didn't very few people actually believe Garland existed before?
Yes.
Like, so like there's an awful lot of like nobody really knows anything going on here.
Yeah.
All of the histories that you'd managed to find were partial fragments, usually not anything useful, but piecing all of those not useful bits together, you were able to create some useful bits. And then you went and visited Garland itself, and you met the Lich, who told you that she destroyed the place.
So,
Because they were
world's
endangered.
world's foremost experts on Garland all happen to be sitting in this wagon.
Yes.
Yep.
You are now the world's foremost experts on Garland.
We're the foremost in everything.
So to Nerevar's point, from everything that we could gather before we made our way to Garland, the city was, or the area was not a desert before that, although there was a desert to the south. And the city being destroyed was at least part of the same cataclysm that caused the desert in the first place. Stands to reason that the Lich who destroyed the city had something to do with it.
So perhaps to take that, what is known and what is believed, and go another step further with logic, the storms were created as part of this Lich's cataclysm, and are what achieved turning this area into a desert. And so perhaps it was some mechanism in that place that the Lich called home that created the storms. And by removing it, his face shows a mixture of emotions as he says that, you've ended the storms entirely.
I'd say it's likely.
It's possible.
I would say it's
Considering-
possible. Deserts are known to have storms themselves. There are storms in the Empire of the Four Queens. Nothing to the intensity of the storms that roll through Toralos, but
I
especially
just think it's a bit coincidental that this Lich was using these never before heard of magic gathering storms to create residuum. And they can pull magic from artifacts.
And people.
Yep, definitely people.
So I think that these storms, again, just taking things to the next logical step, may have been a construct of that place. You'd said that the place was rife with magical technology.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, those are my thoughts on it. I think that you've got a possibility that you won't see any more of those storms.
Out of character, was it established that the city was built into a mountain?
Yes. The city was in the heart of the mountain.
Okay.
in the sands of the desert were the grains of the once mighty mountain that had spread with the storms. And
As the
destruction.
story...
Something like that.
That is how the story goes, yes.
Alright, Jebel will turn to Nerevar and just say, they say the city was built into a mountain. Did you see any mountain?
No, I see sand dunes. I see sand and sand dunes.
Yeah. All that was left of the city was... I'll describe what the
The treasure vault?
yeah, it looked like.
Yeah.
Because it was buried in Dune, was it?
It was buried under the sand, yeah. It's possible that whatever magic destroyed the mountain, if this Lich triggered it, they might have chosen to preserve the vault, and so it simply sank into the sand, no longer being within a stone monument. I suppose. I mean, I'm just guessing. This all sounds completely crazy. Of course, gods are capable of such things, but you told me you dealt with a lich, not a god.
Hmm. How do people become liches?
An inability to let go, usually.
No, I meant the mechanism.
A ritual.
Are we there yet?
We're still eating lunch.
Still eating lunch.
You see this cart? It still hasn't started moving again. So no, we are not there yet. As a matter of fact, we haven't left yet.
I suppose we can talk on the way if everyone's done eating.
Alright, I guess we'll pack up and get situated.
During the rolling, so no one has declared doing any kind of study or anything like that, so I assume no one is. Is that correct?
Well, I was asking, I was wondering about the language lessons, who was teaching, because Derek was away when you mentioned that.
Was he? I'm sorry. So, I mean, you're spending right about 12 hours rolling along in your wagon.
I would take as many language lessons as I could.
Oh goodness, what now?
Was Laramedis teaching you anything in particular? I can't actually remember.
I know somebody was teaching me Sylvan, and I was teaching people Primordial.
So I was probably teaching Sylvan, because I think I'm the only one that knows Sylvan.
Someone was teaching Elvish, Primordial, there's Draconic, and someone knows Dwarvish, but I don't think they taught any.
I can teach 3 of those, I think.
I can teach Sylvan, Elven, and Dwarvish.
And Draconic.
And Draconic. Forgot that was listed one.
I'm riding with Kubriel and the Raiken, so
Learning anything.
I cannot continue any of my lessons at this point.
Unless you can trust Raiken to teach you some Draconic.
It's fine.
Or Celestial, either one.
People have seen me cast Sending twice, by the way.
Who are you
If
talking
anyone
to?
was caring to. So the first one had been after, or both of them would have been in quick succession after mentioning the Kalimdar thing.
3, 4, 5, 6.
So, can we just clarify if anyone actually taught anything? Because we haven't. We just said people were able to.
I would have been willing to teach anything for a couple hours, but I would also be wanting to spend time talking to Nerevar.
No, I get that.
I could take a couple Sylvan lessons.
What does Leo want to learn? Draconic or Celestial?
Not really.
Neither one of them. Okay then.
I mean, it's fine. You're busy controlling Kubriel anyway.
Raiken, the small tear forms in Raiken's eye, as Leah doesn't want to get learned from him.
I will relay a message from Kalimdar after my first sending. He said that we should hurry back to Tuka as quick as possible. There is a messenger who is dangerous, and a life is likely in danger. They want Vendar.
Like a suicide messenger?
I am unsure.
Great.
What did you do? I say pointedly at Vendar. Honk honk to you too.
Honk.
Tristan, get out of the way.
Can't.
Is Jacob there?
Jacob?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I don't know. Depends on who it is.
Okay. Why don't you just list what you've done so I can maybe make an educated guess? Feel free to keep it just this city.
Where to begin?
Oh. I honestly don't know.
So, are we splitting up his gold before we send him in there or after?
You're not touching my gold.
I'm kidding. But seriously, you have no clue what you did?
Who says there was
I've done
something
a
in
lot
that
of
city?
stuff, but it doesn't necessarily. I didn't really do anything in that city.
Are you absolutely sure?
They probably got wind that that was the last place that he was seen.
I mean, we've done plenty of stuff on our way throughout the last few months, and well, I had a life before. They say anything else about this person?
No, unfortunately. I can send again. But that is a use of spell slots that might be necessary.
So what did he say again?
That we should hurry back to Tuca. There's a messenger who seems very dangerous. But the Mages Guild will remain uninvolved, as it is their policy.
Messenger that seems very dangerous.
A life is likely in danger, and they want Vendar.
Huh. Well, I wonder what this is about.
So onward.
Oh, we better get going.
Are we gonna reach there by the end of today, or will it still be another day from now?
We're still some time away.
You're still another day from the Dragonborn encampments after the end of this day. So, I will need 2 more survival checks from Yukikaze with advantage.
Cyrus teach any primordial?
I'll probably teach an hour or 2. We'll call it 2 after Larminus is done teaching his lessons.
People can. Laramentus is perfectly content to teach whichever of his languages people want to be taught. 4 hours of teaching. Pick amongst yourselves which languages you wanted from him. Looks like Jebel wants all of them except for Sylvan.
Yeah. You don't speak primordial.
I do not, but most of Laramentus' time not teaching is probably going to be spent talking with Nerevar.
That's good.
So I won't be benefiting from the primordial.
So, who's learning Sylvan?
Me?
I know Cyrus was. I don't know if anyone else was.
I'm learning Draconic.
So there are 2 votes for Draconic in the wagon. Leah is otherwise occupied and so cannot benefit from Elvish lessons. If there were other people who wanted Elvish right now,
Me. I want them all.
Laramentus only has so much time in a day.
Gotta catch them all.
I can teach Draconic later. If I could learn some Sylvan now, that'd be great.
So
I mean, I can do 2 Sylvan and 2 Dwarvish if people want.
I'd be okay with that.
If you're wanting to do Draconic and we don't want to do Elvish without Leah as well.
I was learning Dwarvish.
I mean,
Devil had an
a bit
interest in
ahead.
Dwarvish.
I'm a bit ahead of them on.
So what languages
yeah.
does Devil speak?
Oh, you don't know.
Common, Gnomish, and Druidic.
So I think that I had set just a limitation on how much knowledge you could absorb to like 3 hours of lessons per day. Does that sound familiar to anybody?
That seems
No.
reasonable.
But yeah,
In which case, I'll do 3 hours of languages if people want to be learning from me, or if people would prefer primordial.
Just because it's so much information to try to absorb.
Yeah.
But travel is a good time to try to do it.
I could take 2 hours of Dwarvish and an hour of Primordial if Cyrus teaches an hour of Primordial.
And I will also make the caveat that teaching a language does not count against the language that you can absorb. So you can teach a language to somebody, and then they can teach it to you, and that will take 6 hours. Like, if you were to go for 3 hours straight each, it would take 6 hours, but you would each gain 3 hours of the language. Sound fair?
yeah.
I didn't catch that. What?
Time spent teaching a language doesn't count against time spent learning a language.
So you gain the benefits of learning 3 hours of languages a day, but you can teach however many you want,
Yes.
and then still gain the benefits of 3 hours of being taught.
Okay. So teaching doesn't detract from learning.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
That seems fair to me. It seems even generous, but seems fair to me. You don't usually have this much time to play around with, but traveling is a good time to get it out of the way. If one person is... Oh, that will also matter who's driving the wagon, because somebody's got to be paying attention, and Yukikaze's got to be dividing his attention at least to navigate.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be dividing my attention. So I won't be learning languages at this time.
That's okay. I mean, you can divide your attention. I mean, I'm just saying that, like, for story-wise, you would have to, like, leave the lesson every now and then just to check things with the sextant, check it against the map, and then come back.
And that's what the rules are. It's like I get to a certain point, I'm double-checking, and then continuing, and then checking again, then continuing, right?
Yep. You stop momentarily just to get a bearing on where you are, check it against the map, go, okay, I think we're here, so we need to head this direction. You can use a compass to figure that out.
So for my rolls, Tristan, I got a 19.
Okay.
So, but on the next one, you guys are gonna notice because is kind of puzzled and looks a little lost. I rolled an 8, Tristan. So
okay.
I want to use my inspiration to get like a aha, found it.
Okay. You may.
And I rolled a 22 for the inspiration.
All right. you do that. You seem very puzzled by what's going on, and then it seems to click, and you go, okay, now wait. I know where we are. Okay, we need to go that way.
Yeah.
We're good. We're good. I thought something was wrong. We're good. It's just that dune shifted weirdly, and...
Yeah. I got it, guys. Don't worry. Yeah, because I rolled a 2 and then a 4. So much for advantage.
Alright.
So...
Well, good use of inspiration. Alright, so the language stuff is somewhere. Was that something we pinned?
I have no idea.
Okay. Well, I have it written in my encounters document. I think I pinned it somewhere.
I have it written on a note. Okay, Raiken, fine, you can teach me some Draconic.
Are you sure?
Twist my arm, why don't you?
Yeah, I'm bored otherwise.
Alright, the Raiken will teach her Draconic.
Okay.
So, how long is the lesson again? Did we agree on that?
So lessons are broken up in just generally you need at least an hour. You get an hour of practice in. That's one like 1 hour lesson. That's the smallest chunk. It's an hour. And that you can learn for up to 3 hours a day before your brain's just like, I'm done.
Okay, so 3 hours counts as 3 lessons then.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, I've got the thing broken down into hours, so 5 to 10 1-hour lessons is the first level, which you can now roll to try to understand things that you hear in a language that you have been studying.
Gotcha.
5 to 10.
5 to 10 1-hour lessons before you can even try to roll to understand a language you didn't know before taking those lessons.
Yeah,
So
that's what
how
I was
long have
asking
you?
about.
So
How long have you traveled?
five is the minimum number you need to begin to roll. 10 is the end of that tier, and then it's 11 to 20, 21 to 30. And then 31 is up, is fluent.
Okay. How long have you been traveling so far?
Today was 12 hours of travel total. With Yukikaze stopping the wagon every now and then to check their bearings and give the new direction. No problem with monsters, no problem with storms. You stop for lunch for about an hour.
So does we reach nightfall then before getting to any encampments?
It'll, as we finish this next leg of the trip, that Yukikaze just rolled for, about 6 hours later, it is now nightfall, and you will set up camp however you wish to do that, whether you want to set up tents, whether you want to use, the tiny hut, or whether you want to use the cabin.
I
Yeah,
cannot get tiny hut.
Yeah, let's not use that
Took it
cabin
away from
again.
I'm also gonna point out, because I completely forgot to mention it before, so I hope that's fine. Before we started traveling in the beginning, I would have switched to the desert clothing, making sure that I'm safe from the environment.
Yeah, no, that's reasonable.
I likely would have taken that on before leaving the hut in the beginning. To begin with.
I imagine, like, people had described using their desert clothing once you left the dungeon.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people were still wearing their desert clothing in the dungeon, which is also reasonable.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I just want to make sure it's actually stated, so in case it comes up.
Yeah. So, I mean, my only, like, inquiry about anything is, like, who's wearing armor during the day in case there's an attack. Is everybody wearing their armor as you travel, or is your armor off while you travel?
I can't.
I'm
take
wearing
mine off.
mine, but it's leather, so it doesn't really do much.
Right, you can wear yours comfortably, yes. Jubble can't take his off. And Raiken can put his on and off whenever he wants. Yukikaze had help getting his on. So,
I'll
Yukikaze...
be mage armoring again after my first one goes down.
So, Yukikaze, nightfall comes. You can now navigate by stars if you wish to continue moving. You've been traveling for about 12 hours, but you can forced march if you feel there is urgency to get to your destination.
I'm gonna stop for a second. The clock is like, all right, guys. Just to let you know, we can press on if you wish. I do have a star map to travel easier at night, or still be able to travel at night, if we wish to proceed.
I mean, it did sound kind of urgent about the dude in Tuca and the dangerous messenger.
How much longer can you reasonably keep us on course without losing your focus?
You can keep going another 24 hours.
What about the lizards?
They're just animals.
Skipper feels strangely affronted.
How much food did we give them, by the way?
Enough. I mean, you've brought food for them for 10 days, at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
How, based on, since I'm following the map and I know where I am, how far away do I know I'm from the tribes and Tuca?
Well, you know that if you travel normal days, you're still 3 more days minimum from Tuca. You would be 1 more day from the tribes. If you were to sleep tonight, you would travel all day the next day and reach there in the night. If you kept going through the night, you'd get there like around midday the next day. But you also are aware that you're not entirely certain where the tribe might have moved to if storms continued to go through that area. So you would need to be able to contact your tribe and find out where they've moved to.
Smoke signals.
Sending. I mean, I think I'm well acquainted enough with the Yukikaze's father that I can send to him.
You absolutely are.
Are you going to speak up about that? Because I can't. I'm already metagaming there, anyways. But yeah, something you can say is like, "Oh, hey."
I mean, you can say, "I need to find out where my tribes are. Can you help me?"
Or I could say 3 days. We have to backtrack to go out there, but if we don't know where that situation is going to take us. If I had a way to contact my family, or just or to contact the tribes to let them know that. Oh wait. The Tristan, I forgot. Voice of this guy. Can I? The wedding wasn't planned any relatively soon, was it, or was that in the future? Right.
I mean, it was in the next couple months, but I don't think she really gave you a date. She just said, "Come back alive."
Okay. So I will communicate. So that was just in the back of my head. So so I'm saying this to everyone. If there was a way for me to quickly just give heads up to the tribes that I'm okay and that we're heading straight to Tuca, because something is up there, then we could probably skip by the tribes and go directly to Tuca, because I don't know if they're still in the same exact spot.
I am against the plan of skipping past this group of people who could help me regain my magic. Zintharamil says from the back of the wagon.
I doubt that they're far enough out of the way that rushing immediately to adding another day to get to Tuca, I don't think is going to make the situation any worse than it is.
Okay, well, I'm not the one that got the message, so I wasn't sure how hard to go on the press or what you guys were thinking. So that's why I'm mentioning these two options.
The plan
I do not think that we should dawdle it with the Dragonborn, but I do think it would be worth it for them to see you well.
And I'm not against it. I'd like that also.
I interrupted one of you talking, Tristan.
It was Zintharamil.
Okay.
He says, "My plan for restoration involves meeting your clan."
Could your father give me directions reasonably to how far, in which direction they traveled from where we knew them to be?
Oh,
That help plot our course?
He would probably tell you if they headed a little northeast or a little south or whatever. We can easily find it if we just get a general travel direction.
I can send to him and let you know what he says.
excuse me. Sorry.
Ugh, I could smell that one.
No, you couldn't. But it's small.
I sent you a message, Mel.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was one of those things that I remember, but wasn't fully sure. Thanks.
Yep.
But yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, when you're done with that sending, as long as we're pretty well just waiting to get to the next stop, we could see how telepathic bond and detect thoughts interact.
That's a fair point. Sorry, I'm putting together the sending.
Yeah, it's good. I just wanted to get that so there was a bit of dead air there.
$25.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3.
Oh dear. This is presumably
That was
during-
earlier.
Yeah. So like for after that there was that first sending to Kalimdar. There was the second sending. A little bit after that, Laramendis's face darkened a bit. And then at some point during travel, he just stopped, probably during one of the lessons, let's say, just stops dead. And it's like, oh dear. Oh,
What's
oh dear.
wrong?
Well, that's not good.
It has... Bromdor is preparing for...
War?
something unpleasant. Yes, most likely.
Why?
Well, I actually can't answer this because I don't think I have enough information in character.
It would seem that their actions in Aspara are resuming. I'm
that's not good.
I'm getting more messages from.
What?
So.
They had a freaking treaty. Or a
They had a
ceasefire.
ceasefire.
A ceasefire.
For
They
what?
know what's coming. We told them.
Lord Sivan was never the most stable of their leaders in my time there.
We need to get back to Overwatch.
I'd like to back up. For what reason was there a peace treaty? Or ceasefire?
The extent of the situation with the Green Dragons was made clear to Lord Sivan, and he decided that having his own forces die while fighting someone else is not beneficial to protecting his country, and if he could swoop in and be a hero, then he would be lauded.
Well, did you ever give him something else to fight?
There's something else is followed.
We told them it was coming.
Telling and giving are two very different things.
The ceasefire seemed... he seemed to accept things reasonably well and was willing to give it some time. Although it would seem that something changed recently, perhaps a day or two ago.
Am I hearing this conversation? Have you stopped?
Yeah, this is an interruption to the lesson as you were traveling in the afternoon.
So depending on how close to the
So we are moving. Okay, then I'm not paying attention to it.
Oh yeah, no. You would be giving the lessons while the wagons are moving. So yes, it would depend on how close Leah the tiger is to the wagon, but like that, they're usually pretty close. I imagine that conversation throughout the day is pretty regular, with the exception of when Yukikaze, or when Raiken is teaching Draconic to Leah.
So I have a quick character question. How long ago was the ceasefire established?
Goodness
Was it weeks or months? Because I can't remember at this point.
It's
a couple weeks, I
at
think.
this point.
Yeah, it's not that long.
It's 2 or 3 weeks.
It was right before you guys headed off to hunt down the necromancer. You established the ceasefire, and then you left immediately the next day to chase after the necromancer.
I just remember there being a lot of travel time, which is why.
And so there was like about a week of travel time to get to the necromancer, and then you beat the necromancer that night. You raised the dragon the next day, so that was a day. Then you traveled. There was a day there, another day to Fairfield. Then you stayed back because of the griffin thing. And then you traveled, that was 2 more days after, maybe 3, to Braithen. So that's almost 2 weeks. And then you traveled another couple days to get to... you spent 2 days in Braithen, and then, so that finishes 2 weeks starting...
I got it right there. We left Bromdor in April 11th. It is now May the 12th. It's actually a month.
Okay, cool.
There you go. Thank you.
I just opened the diary and now I had the month
Roll
loaded.
history. Roll history to see if I know anything about the leader of Bromdor.
He's a jackass.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, you can roll history.
Jebel's from Aspara.
Yes, you are.
He's a
I know
jackass.
nothing.
No, you know he's a jackass.
You know he's a jackass.
You're
Even on a 1.
You're because of the way that your gnomish culture separates itself from human society. You are tangentially aware that Bromdor is an aggressor of Aspara. You don't know who the hell the guy they're talking about is, beyond that they're saying he's the leader. So he must, by extension, be a jackass.
Well, I know that Bromdor sucks. Bromdor is the worst.
There are plenty of wonderful people in Bromdor.
Oh, God.
Oh, they always say that.
They always say that.
I also am... Oh, man.
Yep, you just said that.
I didn't say there were wonderful people in Aspara.
The
I think I don't live there.
The truce was actually set April 10th. We left Bromdor the day after the truce was set.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a little over a month.
Well, it's a month and 2 days.
Yeah.
Not only has the Asparan front been reinvigorated, it would appear that the Arcosian citizens have been relocated from Arcosia. And the seat of Bahamut is being looted, presumably.
Huh.
Wait,
Well-
by Bromdor?
Yes.
You
All
don't
right.
say.
That's enough.
Those fuckers.
Sylvanas
so-
is also.
I
likely
say we
going to-
wipe those pieces of shit off the map.
And you expect to do this how?
Well, let's
I
go
do
back
have-
to Overwatch and let's give them guns. We figure out how to mass produce this shit, and Brom don't stand a chance.
I
think
just
this is,
put my head in my hands and shake my head.
this is exactly
No.
what the Lich was
I
believing would
I
happen.
knew we never should have trusted that ignorant asshole.
You know, the longer I know Vendar, the less surprised I am that there's someone who wants to kill him.
Took you that long to catch on.
I mean, there are a lot of people who want to kill me, but
I've only known you guys like a week.
And I've known them even less. Still caught on to that bit of knowledge.
So that's news.
Okay, well,
We better get moving.
So this is something else that has to be taken care of?
I mean, we
That's
thought
okay.
it already was taken care of.
well,
turns out I guess we just made it fucking worse.
gonna say, from the sounds of it, the way you took care of it, this is the result. So, yes, it's
trust
taken care
Bromdor.
of.
Don't
No,
trust
never trust
Bromdor.
Bromdor.
Yes.
Round.
Even I know not to
So,
Why did you try to make truce between two nations? See how easy it is.
Virus.
trust.
I have no
that's not
interest
my-
in doing that.
Yeah, that's
It's
not
gonna
my
matter in the long
area.
run. They'll either make truce on their own or keep squabbling until one ends up dead. If somebody else steps in and says stop that, the best you'll get them to do is put down their gun or put down their sword for half a second, just so they can rest up for round 2.
All Bromdor does is attack us. Time we kill him.
It usually lasts for a few years, 10 at most, and then the people lose interest, and then eventually that particular lord dies, and the next one picks up the fight again. That's how it's been.
Oh, shitty. We need to wipe them off the map.
We need to protect these people.
We cannot kill all of them. Not all of them are at fault.
Oh, we need to wipe the leaders off the map so that, cut the head off. Body dies.
No, that is not the way countries work, my friend.
Anyways, guys, we can go on this for
the
hours.
body off the head,
Mendes,
guys.
have you any word back from my dad?
We need to beat them down so
Um,
bad that they won't come back at us.
So
Are
that
they-
this conversation is all well before that, before the sending to your dad. But yes, they have changed location twice, noting that the storms stopped being predictable last night. They have not seen any since this morning, and I say coordinates that hopefully mean something to you.
You have a map, like they're map coordinates. You have a map.
Yeah. Hopefully they mean something to that map,
They do.
because I'm not sure how standard everything is right now.
So, at least in the short term, how does this affect us?
Bromdor?
The Bromdor thing, yes. How was this going to... how badly is this going to affect you being able to get your book back along with anything they might have been helping to do there? I'm rather
I
I'm
do
not
not
very
exactly
familiar
as
with our full
Nalia-
itinerary.
I do not believe we will be doing anything with them. I'm going to be in touch with Nalia to see if there is a time when I can feasibly regain my spellbook from her. But it may take some days.
Alright. Then... I suppose we should probably be discussing what our next step is. Because right now we're just going to a place without any real goal in mind as far as I'm aware.
I mean, we're going to Tuca to meet the messenger and see what the heck is going on.
And hope that nobody kills him.
Yes, but
And we gotta get back to Overwatch.
this is my point exactly. We need
If
to
there even is an Underwatch.
come up with what we're doing after Tuca.
After Tuca, I say we teleport back to Overwatch.
And you expect to do that how when they are under siege?
We have the teleportation circle.
We
Don't
can
we?
teleport to Tuca.
Yeah.
Not to Tuca, we cannot teleport to Tuca. Lara Mendes said the right name of the city. We can teleport to Everwatch.
You
Sam
do
is
have
a dumbass.
you do
Lara
have
Mendes
that
is less
circle.
so.
You do have that circle.
Yes, I memorized that one and then wrote it down.
Okay.
We would be clear in talking about it beforehand and giving them the proper warnings about.
Would it be safe teleporting to Overwatch?
Assuming that it wasn't taken over.
We need to do something to protect those people. They
won't be able
counted
to
on
protect
us.
We won't be able to protect them if we teleport it straight in the middle of the enemy's midst. If Brondor has taken Overwatch, we don't know if that has happened, but if that has happened,
It seems quite unlikely that they've managed to somehow take the city.
Do I know how sending works?
But we should send to the queen or to my sister.
I am not familiar enough with either of those persons.
You can roll Arcana,
Yeah.
Jebel.
Well, then
that's
send.
a 20 on
You could
dice.
send to
Yes.
the mage, right? The archmage.
I could send to him, yes.
He should know and be able to contact them.
The
If
Archmage
the
of
city
where?
was taken, the Arch of Everwatch.
Ah,
Everwatch. We had a long enough conversation. He is aware of who I am and all that.
yes.
wasn't that
He
wasn't that
might not necessarily
potentially?
believe everything I say, but
Yeah, wasn't that potentially Shiva's father?
The person that you thought looked a lot like Shiva wasn't the Archmage. They was the person who was guarding the teleportation circle.
Ah, okay.
The Archmage of Everwatch is Theron Ethian. I had to scroll way up my list of NPCs.
Zintharamil, you seem quite adamant about wanting to try and protect these people from each other. Do you have an idea as to how to do that?
We have to protect them from each other and from themselves. If this Bromdor, as a nation, is once again entering war, they're going to be spending life. If we can prevent that, we need to. If that means forging a new treaty like you did before, then that is what must be done. But we must prevent the needless expenditure of life. That's what you do. I've watched you do it for months. Not you specifically, Cyrus.
Army.
But you, Leah. Is that not our joint purpose?
With your guidance, yes. To protect anyone, especially those who can't protect themselves.
I agree it's something that needs to be done, but
So let's not talk about wiping a country off the map anymore, Vendar.
with Bromdor's propensity for war, I'm not sure how I would be able to get them to agree to a ceasefire.
But it'll never last. They constantly attack.
You've already shown yourself to be quite biased. You might want to stay out of this conversation.
We could try to put someone else on the throne. Someone that's smart enough to not cause more conflicts and maybe put Brondor into a different path.
So you're suggesting a coup?
We could do that.
We might also notice someone.
Yeah, but what is it? What is it our right to judge that someone is more worthy to rule than another?
If someone is damaging or sacrificing the lives of others, then they are not fit to lead.
Yes,
Yeah, that
but
seems
I
pretty
mean,
straightforward to me.
yeah, but I mean for like putting someone in that position because they could be just as bad or worse.
Doing nothing is worse. What did you say, Jacob?
But I forgot.
Okay.
What do I know about the succession in Bromdor?
That it's always different. Sometimes it's hereditary, sometimes it's by combat, and every now and then you get somebody who thinks they can better the place by making it more democratic, and then they get voted out.
Yeah.
And the next guy gets rid of the
They
democratic.
they set up the ways in which they can get voted out, and then they get voted out, and they
Yeah.
they were idiots.
Yeah. That guy's name was
We
Elland.
need to.
Yeah.
We need to
Or
forcefully put a strong leader in there who won't fucking attack everybody.
And who's smart
So,
enough to
what was
maybe
that
hold
about
people.
combat? Are you saying there's a way
Nice.
we could just challenge him to a duel? Or
What,
something?
what about someone that can also outlive most of them?
You're thinking of his friend, aren't you?
I am.
I think that is outside of her desired position.
What is more important, her desire or the best for her people? She is a Brondorian, yes? As of today.
I think you would be. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I think you would voice in this guy. I think you would be hard pressed to convince her to aid us in this and then take over. I don't think she's in a position where she wishes to stage a coup.
It doesn't seem in line with her desires, at least in as far as you've known her. At any point, if that had been her desire, it seems like it would have been in her power to take the throne.
She's been there long enough and seen enough of them die that. And her interests lie far from governing. I'm not certain that.
In that case, we would need to find someone else, but it's not easy to find someone we can trust enough.
Maybe we can find someone we can control.
Or perhaps it's enough
Well, this
to remove the
conversation is starting to
problematic
really-
person and let the rest sort itself out.
It would at
Well,
least be a
Bromdos
temporary
is-
solution, and we
But-
could certainly
yeah.
remove it.
By Bromdos history, someone worse could take you on.
Well, I mean, Bromdor's always putting someone awful in charge. It would give us at least a temporary reprieve from them, though.
But I much prefer this solution to slaughter.
Yeah, I say some things when I get mad.
It is all right. We will find a proper solution.
So, here's that's next on the agenda after Tuka.
I've watched your travels since Sarkosia. You always find a solution that is beneficial, even
Well,
if temporary.
apparently- Yeah, this one seemed to have been more temporary than most.
Everything's temporary in a long enough span of time.
Well,
And that's not depressing.
the
But
thing
Mendes
was-
didn't seem depressed about it when he said it. He thought it was. He looked like he was like hopeful and helpful.
Well, you're not wrong.
I'm not used to
Far less
this.
temporary for us than for you.
I'm not used to this body of governing because our tribes work well together, and well, the ones that are leading for a while is from a contest of power.
Well, you're also way fewer.
She's right.
Alright. I'd personally like to get a bit of a roadmap spelled out here. So from my understanding, our intention is to go to the Dragonborn tribe and possibly help Zintharamil claim some of his lost abilities. Then to go to Tuka, deal with the problems there, and if I get my way, perhaps do some research or get the clerics of Ione to help us get a lead onto the armor of Bahamut. Well, more accurately, the other two pieces.
I suppose we might be able to find powerful enough diviners amongst their ranks.
Well, I figure if we'll find it anywhere, I'd say that's a pretty good bet.
If Brondor has raised the capital, they might have already gotten them. I don't know how drow work.
They're only raiding Arcosia. They're not going down to the Underdark, which, from what you have said, is most likely where those other two pieces are.
How would you know that?
Because I've heard the stories of the 7 or 8, possibly even 12 times you've explained to the entire events there.
No,
Like
I
at the
mean,
Temple of
how
Ione.
do you know that Brondor wouldn't go to the Underdark?
Because they're looking for easy things to acquire, not to lose more soldiers when they're already fighting a war on a completely different front.
Yeah, going
Yeah,
to
well,
the
that's a
Underdark
good
is
point.
another war. It's not looting.
Then what? Aren't there dragons there? So they're risking getting attacked by dragons to loot Arcosia.
They are slowly working on extracting the items. Nalia said that it was dangerous. I assume that is one of the reasons why.
Hey, maybe we can do something to piss off the dragons, and they'll go and wipe out all the.
What
Wow.
did we just say? No wiping out Bromdor, okay?
I'm against
Stop
the
it.
plan.
Bad Vendar. Squirt bottle.
Well, if you don't act quickly, the dragons might do that either way.
Well, we have some
I
time
wouldn't
before we
cry.
really need
So,
to have
now-
a solid plan in place.
We're
But
going.
backing up, I'd like to finish with the roadmap here. So stop at Truka, possibly get information and deal with whatever's looking to kill Vendar. And then go to either Rondor or Aspara somehow and stage some sort of ceasefire, coup, assassination, something of those lines to put a stop to the fighting. Am I on track so far?
Yeah.
I'm not so
Sounds
sure
good.
about the last part, but for the majority, yes.
And then, if I get all that done, I would expect the next step would be to get the other pieces of the armor of Bahamut, so you actually have a chance against Bala. Seeing as how that is the one thing that's
mean
designed to deal with that type of problem.
Heck,
Yeah, you
I
mean
have
though.
a chance.
I said designed. It's not like I'm not saying that's what you're wearing is bad. I expect it's incredibly powerful. But it's not the job it's made to do.
Glorious combat against Bala sounds right up its alley.
Dragon slaying is what I'm referring to.
Anyways, alright. So we're getting nitpicky and going quite a bit around in circles. We probably should get a move on.
I mean, we are moving.
Yeah,
I'm simply trying to get a
you've
plan.
been. This whole discussion has been happening while the
Oh.
cart's been going.
Sorry, I
This interrupted one of the lessons, but you're not going to lose that lesson because there were 12 hours to deal with, so you'll be fine there. It's just,
Okay.
this is while you were moving.
Alright.
We are, like, Kubrel is just following close enough to the wagon that Raiken and Leah can join in on the conversation.
So, do we think we'd be better off going to Bromdor or Spara to try and deal with the
Tell them.
war
They
problem?
need to figure it out on their own.
That's debatable, because I mean, if we go to Bromdor, they could either. I mean, if we go to either side, they could either think that we're working for the enemy and trying to help them. So it could go either way for either side.
I think we should go to Aspara first and then make our way to Brondor.
We might have a better chance
I think
going
teleporting
to
into
Aspara
Brondor would be a bad
because
idea.
of Vendar.
And also
might have
because
a
of
less chance.
Larmendus, he's sending can let them know we're on our way to help.
Alright.
It's
And
fascinating.
then there's one other thing worth addressing. There is the, rather looming problem of your, not sure what the proper wording is. Ex-patron, I guess?
No.
Zephyr, might as well use his name.
Twice before.
the spooky
It's a
voice.
demon. I'd rather not.
It's not his real name, as far as I know.
Just stay. Let them
Yeah,
go.
better safe than sorry. And so, without Zintharamil's, obscuring you,
I can't
there's
do
also the
that
chance of
anymore.
him just dropping out of nowhere, or at least someone in league with him, to interfere with whatever it is we're doing at any point in time.
That is a
That's
serious
me.
concern.
That has been worrying me for the last day.
Now,
Is there anything we can do to do about that?
no offense, but I'm aware this group has a rather, bad memory or habit of keeping secrets when it comes to, possible things that will come to bite them in the rear. Is there anything else I should be aware of that might come back to haunt us?
Priest of Pelor?
Tungsten rods.
No, not you, Cal.
I think we're settled with the Assassin's Guild.
Alright, possibly assassins, good to know.
They have an assassin's guild. Wait, they have a guild? That's weird.
Any other problems?
Probably that the world's going to end.
Alright. And then there's also the issue of... Well, not issue, but the, I'm not really sure what to call it. There's also you tagging along. However long that might be, and whatever it is, we might send you on your way. This, of course, referring to Nerevar.
Who is not inside the cart, he's out on the creature, so you're going to go to the front of the cart, like poke your head out the front of the wagon and like address him directly.
Yep.
Okay.
I
So when you do that, you see that he is talking to the bird, and he looks over you surprised. So, hello. Well, I figured I would just tag along until the city. From there, I should be able to get in where I need to go. Sounds like you're very busy.
Alright.
A lot of things happening around you lately, isn't there?
That
Usually
would
the case.
seem to be the case.
Every time
not
you
been
think
with this
you've solved
particular-
a problem, a new one seems to crop up.
Oh yeah, that's how our lives work.
Very interesting.
I liked my old life. Went somewhere, did a job, got paid, had a
You
nice
got
life.
paid?
I was retired.
I've never known a different life.
That is rather depressing.
We probably
Well-
find a lot more money than you got paid.
You guys decided to join us.
Do these kinds of problems that you're gallivanting about, solving, seem to happen around the world a lot, or do they all seem to come straight to you?
I think it's more we go looking for them.
Problems nowhere to find me.
In your case, rather literally.
I had a pretty good life.
The problems seem a bit more recent from my perspective. However, I've not been with this particular group all that long, so perhaps I'm just getting used to things.
It's been pretty constant.
Ever since we formed the group.
Yeah.
Now, Cyrus is a sorcerer, correct? So, you tend to seek out adventuring companies, I take it.
I do.
So, you must be no stranger to such challenges.
Indeed, I've been doing this for a few years, just not on quite so grand a scale.
Well, welcome to the big leagues.
The big leagues that you killed. I like living.
So why don't you leave?
Because in this case, if nobody does something, we're all gonna be dead anyways.
Interesting. And why is that? What's going to kill everyone? I don't know the whole story here. Only the scraps that have floated.
One
out
of the
town.
original children of Tiamat. Bala, an ancient green dragon.
My arch enemy.
And a giant brood.
Tiamat's original children, the first brood she laid when she came to this plane.
Indeed.
And it's one of them.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to make her wish that she was never late.
Fascinating.
I have a hunch there might be more, but nothing more than a hunch.
More problems or more dragons?
There are more dragons, but not against us.
Well, there was the thing that what was the golden dragon's name?
Zintharamil.
There was a thing that Zintharamil was going to check out because her brother hadn't checked in. So, there's something going on with that, and we don't know what that was.
You
Maybe
made contact
more.
with a gold dragon.
We resurrected the golden dragon.
Yeah, we saved them.
Fascinating. And they said that they were going to stay in touch.
They gave us the ability to call them when we needed. So yes.
Have you used that power before?
No, not yet.
No, because we pretty much only got one use for it.
And we haven't had it that long, so.
Oh. That is, wow. To be able to call in a favor with a gold dragon is pretty impressive. Do you know how old it is? Must be
Very
a young one.
ancient.
Excuse me.
One of the original children of Bahamut. If I'm not mistaken.
We tend to find the really old ones.
He's just
I
like
imagine this big old look of shock.
he's
on his
just turned
face.
around on the lizard with the bird like across his lap, like wrapped around him, looking at you. And his mouth is just agape.
Jebel just shrugs and goes like, I haven't met any dragons.
Alright, yeah, this was before you and Cyrus joined us.
Like a week before.
I mean, don't worry, we've met two already.
I
I'm
mean,
sure
There's
we'll
bound to be more.
if I could get in touch with my father, might be able to get him to help as well.
He's a dragon too, right?
Indeed.
Another old
Real
one.
dragon, Papa.
I don't know his age.
There's only one dragon, Papa. I look at it.
You're a draconic sorcerer, and your draconic lineage comes directly from your father.
It does.
That's unusual.
It is. As far as I'm aware, I'm the only first-generation sorcerer in the history books. There may have been more, but they may have made their presence a little less known.
Cal climbs around under the lizard's back. Just says, "You must be really powerful. Like a dragon." Remember that time we rode the wyverns? Never. Just
I want to ride a wyvern.
Wyverns are not the same as dragons.
Dad rode a dragon. It didn't end well.
I mean, he was
I
thrown
just
off of a
turned
dragon.
stare at Raiken.
I mean, I rode it, and then I flew, and then I landed.
So, you jumped on top of it then?
Yeah.
More like I Misty stepped onto it.
Same thing.
And then it flew up really high and tossed him off.
Can we return to the subject of how we're going to not kill a whole lot of people to stop a war?
How about we just kill a couple people to stop a war? Maybe just one person.
If there is not another way.
This guy really don't know any other way.
Does
I wish there were different ways, but I know the kind.
I trust your judgment, Leah. I know you want what I want for this world.
The world it will not go well for those less fortunate if people like this still lives. We could always try to teach him a lesson without, but he has too many people on his side.
Then we should hurry to the Dragonborn Tribe. Perhaps there we can restore my power, and maybe then I can be of service to you.
Well, we are going as fast as we can, but...
Last night wasn't comfortable. I woke up way too early, being afraid of my own life. Before you, it was in my dreams I saw him. Before that, it was in mirrors.
You mean Zephyr?
Yeah.
I have not forgotten, and I understand that sometimes in order to protect, one must destroy. Zephyr must be stopped. He seems to pause for a moment and collect himself. Before we can do that, though, I must be restored. I can feel it.
Feel what?
The power. It's there. I can't access all of it yet.
I may be uniquely qualified to be able to help.
What makes you say that?
Well, from the sounds of it, you draw on a power from within yourself. You from the way you're describing it, it sounds like you create your own magic, much like a sorcerer.
What do you suggest?
I would, out of character, I'm just going to I guess I'll just try and describe the kind of the basics of what he went through to learn to control his sorcery. See if anything of if any of that helps.
You begin to explain this. You're going to explain in detail your experiences as a growing sorcerer?
What I can, yes, since it sounds like he is similar, perhaps this will help him regain his abilities.
Okay. So, I will tell the party then that what you're describing involves a latent power dwelling within you that your father was helping you learn to draw out and control, but it wasn't something you had to work hard to draw out. It was something that wanted to get out. It would trigger you to movement, it would make you feel restless, and your father warned you that if you did not cast spells to remove the magic from your body, it would build up and overload you. But tapping into it once you learned a few spells was easy. The magic was readily there for you. He seems to be having trouble drawing it out. It's not clearly trying to escape him like it tries to escape you. This is not to say that your advice is not helpful, and he does seem to draw inspiration from it, and tries to cast some spells, succeeding in a few. But while he seems to benefit somewhat from this and is capable of doing more than he had previously been able to, he tells you that it still feels like there's something preventing it. He needs something from this world. And he looks to Laramentis as he tells you, I think that thing is belief.
I believe in you.
He smiles. I know. But this is... we need a consensus.
From the little I know of Fae, makes sense.
Would the Dragon Tribe be enough people?
I think so. That's why I'm eager to get there.
Also, can I get inspiration?
Yes. I think that we should push through the night. This would mostly be putting strain on Yukikaze, as he has to navigate, but the rest of you can sleep. I will wait up with you. From here, they're like another 12 hours of straight driving. If we take it that this conversation is pushed on more toward like the end point when Yukikaze was asking you what you wanted to do, or skipped to there, rather, is maybe more sensible. I think that the conversation that we've had at large would be had in segments and snippets throughout the lessons up until the end. I think that makes the most sense. So the question really is posed to Yukikaze. Are you willing to do this for me?
Well, if everyone wants to travel at night, I can do it.
I will keep you company.
Well, I'm game.
Yeah, let's go.
Then we do it. Nerevar says, oh good, then I'm taking your spot in the wagon. I need to sleep. He climbs off of the lizard, like, hops lightly across from the back. Huh?
Isn't he an elf?
Yes.
But he has explained that he needs to sleep, or at least he usually ends up sleeping regardless.
Because of the tie to the bird.
It's outside of my control at this point. Ooh, it's plush in here.
I know, it's surprisingly comfy, especially for a wagon.
You're welcome.
It's great for someone my size. He says he just kind of curls up on one of the seats.
Nerevar creates like a little nest for himself at the back of the wagon, out of his cloak and some blankets that he pulls from his bag of holding.
And it starts to get colder, I'll put on my old shirt from before we got the fancy duds.
Ah, no more nips.
Oh, they're still there.
Hiding.
Waiting.
Waiting.
You just stick out through that.
They're still there, waiting.
They're just nipple holes, right? They've been cut out.
Who did this to my shirt?
well,
Which one of you assholes?
I think it was Vendar. I blame him.
You can't prove that.
Who else could have gotten it out of my bag while it was still on me?
Who did this? No one you can prove.
The nips are back. I'm so happy.
It's super sensitive.
Alright then. So, you continue on through the night. The others settle in your large, comfortable wagon. There is enough room for you to share the benches and the floor and sleep.
Raiken and at least Raiken can't sleep.
You're
Leah can
right,
maybe
because you're on the tiger. Zintharamil sits up on the bench on the stage next to Yukikaze, talking to him and trying to help him stay awake.
I'm gonna try to stay awake as well.
Okay.
Somebody asked him, like, do you just want my tribe to know of your existence? Is that what you think is gonna help?
I think that if we can create an area where the consensus is that I am a powerful fae, that we can make that true. But it has to be a substantial area, and given that your tribes are majority shareholders of a wasteland, I think it will be enough.
Okay.
Your wizard Laramandus has given me confidence that this may work. And the upshot is, if it does work, then I should have power to offer to Leah. And that will aid you in whatever comes next.
Voice of the Sky, most religions are people that worship any gods usually only worship one, right? I forget if that was the thing.
Like, they might revere a god over others, but it's actually unusual for only a single god to be worshipped in any one place. The majority, like, the Dragonborn of Toralos, and the Dragonborn of Arcosia, like, Dragonborn in general, tend to hold Bahamut above all other gods, but they will also revere gods like Pelor and Cord and Arathis. Most cities, in fact all cities, will have a temple to Arathis, and Arathis is held in very high regard because she specifically protects civilization.
Okay, I was just wondering because
I'd imagine the Raven Queen's also fairly prevalent.
The Raven Queen is another very prevalent god because death needs to be handled. Not every one of her temples is staffed with clerics such as Christopher, but most are, and there are at least clerics going about making sure that people understand the rites that need to be performed upon death and how to prevent undeath. So, like any city center, any urban center in this world will have definitely a temple to Arathis and a temple to the Raven Queen. And then the other gods that are there are based entirely on the culture there.
alright. So yeah. So we'll continue traveling.
So you know that Pelor was very prominent in Aspara. And you know that Cord is prominent in Bromdor, but Cord was also present in Aspara. So they're not mutually exclusive. Just one area might worship a god more than another area does.
I think you mean better.
Sure.
Whoa.
I mean, you know that the biggest temple in Tuca is the one to Ione. The next largest was to Cord. And then, of course, there was the temple to Arathis and the temple to the Raven Queen. So, Malachi, 4 survival checks.
4. Damn.
The first 2 may be made with advantage.
And the last 2 are regular?
Yes.
Because I'm guessing I'm getting tired.
Yes.
Oh, God.
So make a con check.
No, don't give him any ideas.
I mean, when you stay up more than 24 hours, you do have to make a con check to see if you suffer exhaustion. Listen to that wormwood sing. Listen to that Alex burp.
I didn't burp. I just went.
That's a lot of rolls.
Alright, so, well, 2 were with advantage. So, 15, 12, 20, and 17.
Man, you lucked out on those ones that didn't have advantage. Alright.
Yeah, I have also plus to survival, so.
So you pass through the night.
Can I roll something to see if I manage to stay awake, or if I just doze off?
How? Sorry.
Oh, con.
Okay.
Am I? How
Save or... I don't think that actually makes a difference.
I mean, roll
No.
it as a save to try to stay awake.
Tristan, how many con do I have to roll cons? How many do I have to roll?
1. Raiken's asleep.
Is this considered?
What?
Oh, he's not. He can't be asleep. So Raiken also has to make the con save. Sorry, I hadn't been asking for his because I keep forgetting that he's awake.
Yeah, I got a 10.
Okay.
I got a 9, but since this is a saving throw, right?
Yes.
And is 9 a failure?
I mean, it means you suffer a level of exhaustion.
What's that do exactly
So
again?
1 level of exhaustion means that you have disadvantage on skill checks.
Yep.
Which was already reflected in the fact that you didn't get to make your survival checks with advantage.
Oh, on the second 2. Okay, then that's fine then. 'Cause,
But
I
until you can get rid of the level of exhaustion, which takes a full night's sleep, usually, you'll be at disadvantage with skill checks.
Raiken got a 13.
Okay. You're awake
With
still,
what-
and Leah's awake too.
With my knowledge of where I have to get to, I can get to with what I just rolled, right?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, then I'm okay then. Because I was gonna...
No,
I was
you're
thinking-
okay. It's just you are exhausted.
Well, no, it's just like I wanted to make sure it got us there, so I was gonna use Indomitable if I,
Yeah.
if I knew we were gonna get there yet.
Okay. Nope, you're exhausted, but you're still able to take those measurements, and Zintharamil talking to you, and generally everybody keeping you company, the 3 of them, Zintharamil included, does help you get through the night. Morning comes, the others are able to wake up, finish their long rests, and then they will be helping you. The sun rises over the desert, and it is a different place, just because the storms move the dunes, but it's also a different place because you've now gone 24 hours without a storm.
How strangely quiet.
The desert has a vastly different feel to it. It's, for you, Yukikaze, it's a strangeness, almost like something fundamental. I mean, something fundamental about a place you considered home has changed. So there is a bit of a sadness and a bit of loneliness, emptiness feeling there without the storms giving the desert this beauty, intrigue, and danger. And at the same time, the contradictory feeling of safety and comfort at not having to worry about them.
Okay.
Conflicting emotions.
You choose which ones are dominating your soul, but those are ones that would creep up, given the new circumstance.
So it's a brand new day. So it didn't feel like it. Being awake.
You should have gone to sleep.
I didn't want to.
You don't feel good.
Oh, God.
I'm afraid. Don't. If he can see me.
I would make sure he wouldn't do anything.
I don't think you can protect me in my dreams, even how much you want to.
I mean, I could cast protection if it gets good.
Yeah, maybe I can invest in the card a little later.
Oh yeah, there's one thing I forgot to mention. Earlier, I had asked if we could if we could test how telepathic bond and detect thoughts would interact. Can we say we did that?
There would have been time to do it, yes. So, with Detect Thoughts and Telepathic Bond, even if you're not included in the Telepathic Bond, you would be aware of the messages being sent with it. If you focus on one person and they send thoughts, you are aware of those thoughts because those are their highest surface thoughts. They are directly thinking those things, so you are privy to messages for a person who is using a telepathic link who you are focusing on.
But can we hear like the incoming messages as well, or just the outgoing?
Just the outgoing, because the others aren't thoughts that they're having.
Okay.
You might be able to get impressions of what incoming messages cause them to think, or rather, you would be able to get those impressions, but since they're in conversation, you're already getting that in the form of the next thing they say. But no, you cannot hear both sides of the conversation. You just have an idea of what's being said because you can hear one side of it.
Could we take a short break?
Is that in character?
In character, yeah.
Yeah. So this is in the morning, when other people are just waking up inside the wagon.
Dad, please, can we just take a short break? I need to change.
Yeah.
Alex,
Alex?
What?
He was drifting off.
Yeah, Leah asked you if we could take a short break. I need to change.
Sure.
So, you can stop the tiger. You're in the desert. Where are you going to change? What kind of privacy are you going to set up?
There's not much privacy possible, so just gonna ask him to just keep his back.
Okay.
I quickly change and get back on the tiger. But
Okay. It's possible for you to stop the tiger without holding up the wagon and then just catch up. So, is that what you will do, Raiken?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then, as long as you keep your back turned, she can do whatever it is she needs to do, and then you can go again.
I can have my back turned, and Kubriel can get in front of her, block her.
Nice. Living shield. A living, like, cloth. What is those called? The cloth walls? The changing walls?
We call them dressing screens.
Dressing screens, yeah.
Or changing screens. Usually it's screen. In any event,
Gotcha.
Sure, you take care of this, and you get going. Kubriel quickly catches back up. You do hear her in your head, Raiken, as she says, "I may be an angel, but it's difficult to keep up this pace."
We'll be able to break soon.
How soon?
I guess I could shout out, "Hey, when are we breaking?"
I just want to lie down for a little catnap.
So, yeah, Raiken yelled out as they got closer, "When are we breaking?"
Yukikaze, you are at the front of the wagon. You're the one steering it. It's morning, 8 a.m. You know there's about 4 hours left. It has been a long 8-hour trek through the night. The others were sleeping, so you would have just been having snacks from the bento box as you went.
Yeah, yeah. Does anyone want to come up here and join me?
Zintharamil sitting next to you just gives you a raised eyebrow.
Oh, hi, Zintharamil.
You don't look so well. How much further is it?
About 4 hours-ish? I think I'm alright, though. I think I can do it.
After you checked the map, you seemed to fall asleep.
Like, fall asleep?
I mean, you dropped the map, but I have it.
Oh, well, thank you for grabbing it.
I did not think it would have been wise to lose it.
No.
He turns to Raiken.
Well, here, Zintharamil, you want to hold I'll hold the reins for a second. I'm going to stand up real quick, slap my face,
Okay.
and whatnot.
You knock yourself unconscious off the side of the wagon.
Roll an attack against you. You hit you. You crit. You are unconscious. No, I'm kidding. Do you feel better?
I'm still loosening. I'm shaking, I'm moving, slapping my face, like, oh!
He just sort of holds the reins, looks ahead, and every now and then, like, turns to look up at you. He looks concerned.
Alright, and then I'll plop back down and grab the reins. It's like, just keep talking to me, I'll be good.
Alright then. He turns quickly to Raiken and says, I think on the grand scheme of our journey, the answer would be, we are almost there. Do you need to break now? He says that there are 4 hours left, approximately, according to his last reading of the map.
Kubriel, he'll talk to Kubriel then in his head. Well, can you make it for 4 more hours?
Probably. I can do anything.
Then we will do that. And then you can have a nice long cat nap.
And food.
And of course food.
I want meat.
I'm sure the camp might have something.
I want rump
Rump.
and loin.
Okay.
I still don't
All
know what
right.
those are, but I hear they're delicious.
Oh my gosh. All right, we will try to find. But you need to get us there first.
I'm doing this for the rump.
All right, we
moving on?
should be able to make it. I'll stay back then to the wagon and Zintharamil.
So the others wake up during this time. Zintharamil and Yukikaze are chatting amicably on the front of the wagon. Mostly just telling stories. Zintharamil's actually doing a lot of listening to Yukikaze, telling stories about his time in the tribe. What kind of stories will you tell, Yukikaze?
Stories I will tell be about how some of the epic battles from the I always forgot to say it.
Oh, the new the Ascension combat thing.
Yeah,
Shin's. I believe in you.
I need to see it. I can't do it without seeing it spelled out, especially since I'm tired in both game and out of game.
Hang on.
As in Taramel having stories of like the last 70 years in the armor, constantly in the darkness, hoping for a light, a sign of goodness. Some days up good, with much hope. Others left in darkness, hoping to be put out of his misery.
He's a fun guy to talk to. It was Shin Seikatsu.
You must be a thrill at parties.
I've never been to a party. They don't invite guardian spirits to Fey parties. We have a job to do.
I do hear that the Archfey parties are an experience. There's a pretty big pause in there.
I don't know that I'll ever get to experience one. Do I want to?
You can part of it, us.
I don't think I would want to, but I don't know.
I've been at one party. It was pretty grand. Though it wasn't Bromdor.
You see,
There were like pretty dresses and nice music. Nala teach me how to dance.
every place has something worth protecting. Even places that sometimes make a fool of themselves. We need to find those things worth protecting and hold on to them. We need to allow people to experience them and live the lives they want. Safely. So, I did call for a hard end at 10:30, so I will say that the morning progresses like this. Sharing these stories with Yukikaze, drifting in and out, doing his best to stay awake. Leah and Raiken are also feeling the pain of an extended ride, especially since you are a saddle, which is much tougher than the cushioned stage that Yukikaze and Zintharamil are riding on. But at the end of those 4 hours, you do find that over the next dune, you see the spread of tents and people, and you are aware that Yuki's directions have indeed led you at least close enough to find the Dragonborn encampment.
Finally, arriving at our location of Rump.
I am so ready for Rump.
I did not say that in character, of course. I didn't know anything.
Zintharamil did mutter it, though.
So I will call it there, and we will start next session with the Dragonborn encampment.
Yes.
Dun dun dun.
Bum, bum, ba, 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 bum. Everybody gets 500 experience.
Woo!
Yukikaze may have an inspiration point.
Do I get an inspiration for narking on my friend?
Absolutely. Is that one of your... I honestly, I'm now curious. Is that one of your flaws?
No, my flaw is most people scream and run when they see a demon. I stop and take notes on its anatomy. None of it was actually relevant to my ideal bond or flaw in any way, so I should not get a point.
I think I almost feel like narking on your friend would have gone against your bond, because don't you have a bond with her?
No, my bond is my book.
Oh, okay.
My life's work is a series of tomes related to a specific field of lore, so God forbid anything happened to my book.
You added that last part.
I did.
Because it was relevant. To be fair, Lara Mendes likes Ione, which is all about giving information, and he gave information, which was narking on his friend.
Have I gained a bond that should follow the tenets of Ione?
I mean, it's not outside the realm of reason. It's not unreasonable.
I can add tenets of Ione as a bond.
I wouldn't force you, but I think it would make sense. If you're comfortable with that, I encourage it.
So we got a long rest,
Is
right?
in line with
Yes.
Everybody that slept got a long rest.
Everyone that slept got a long rest.
I assume I still have exhaustion.
Roll your Constitution saving throw.
Oh, fun. Do I get Raiken's bonus?
Probably not that close. That we can
I
do
mean,
that.
he's kind of listing about, so we'll say no.
Okay. And well, no, that's pretty high. We're gonna keep that. Let's see. It's 24.
Cool. Yeah, you still have exhaustion.
I was waiting for it.
I expected with the. Can I at least get a hint if it was close?
Yeah, you were close.
Close, but no cigar.
Is it less than 28?
No.
The DC isn't less than 28.
No.
Alright, then there's no point in me using inspiration. Okay, actually, better question. Is it less than 29?
No.
Okay, then yeah, there's no point. Is it less than 40?
I'm not telling you anymore.
Listen.
That's not how you do a binary search. Come on.
Is it less than 60?
I've given you more information than I was legally required to. So you got your 500 experience. Everybody except Yukikaze, Zintharamil, Leah, and Raiken, and Kubriel got a long rest. And we will start next session as noon shines down on the Dragonborn encampment, and you guys get to see the Dragonborn again.
So, what I'm hearing is I need to roll an actual 20 and start sharing a bet with Raiken. So that I'm close enough to get his bonus.
I strongly encourage the second part. Just start now.
Sarah bed with Raiken.
All of the snuggles.
Oh god.
Uh,
You're Little Spoon then.
Yes!
I don't think I'm even big enough to qualify as Little Spoon in that case.
I mean, I guess you are a littler
teddy
spoon,
bear.
but spoons of the same size fit together properly. It's the front spoon and the back
I
spoon.
mean,
You just sleep caressed in his arms like a baby.
Jesus Christ. Well, that's a picture to go to bed with.
Thank everybody who came to watch the stream.
Woo!
Woo!